Do I want to give him that power and become his slave?
I am absolutely delighted to introduce a remarkable guest, the dynamic TV host of ET Tonight, where she brings both entertainment and inspiration to her audience.
I knew that I was going to be off air, and I knew that my podcast had to stop at some point.
She's also the founder of Disconnect DXB, a unique space for Dubai city go-getters to disconnect in order to reconnect. Getting back to the center of who we are, we're so bombarded with external influences all the time.
I call it mental gym every day, just like I go to the gym.
Mais is on a mission to help individuals unplug, find balance, and rediscover fulfillment in a fast-paced world.
I posted a poll on my Instagram. I said, would you rather disconnect or reconnect? 98% of people voted.
A master life coach.
I choose to treat people's opinions as just a dog barking.
If we just wait a second, it's almost giving yourself permission to have some time to think about what you want.
Yes.
Rather than being taken along for the ride. She empowers others with tools for personal growth,
The biggest lesson that I learned, the true meaning of letting go.
resilience,
The minute you start feeling pain, that's when you've got bitten, not by the noise, but by yourself.
and lasting well-being. It's Mais, everyone!
I'm so happy I'm here.
Welcome to Feel It in Your Soul. I'm your host, Angelee, and this podcast is for the bold, the curious, and the ones ready to go deeper. Look, I created this podcast after decades of frustration, constantly feeling like I was chasing. But what I realized is you can create a soulful, lit up life for yourself. And it starts here. We're diving into real stories, unfiltered moments, and breakthroughs that literally change everything. If you're ready to reframe your mindset, unlock your purpose, and hear from voices rewriting the rules, you are in the right place. So look, if this resonates with you on a soul level, please subscribe, share it with someone who needs it. Your support means everything. Now let's dive in. I'm so happy to have you here. So I actually met you, Mais, at a retreat a few months ago.
Yeah.
And honestly, I remember sitting next to you, and something that really came through was you didn't say anything about what you do. You were so kind, so humble. But when you started to open up, there was such a kind of like a mode of feeling like there is a reason that we're here. And you were so connected to that. And then when you started to share, I was like, I need to have Mais on the show. So here I am. I came all the way to Dubai for you, Mais.
Oh, we really did connect, yeah?
We really
connected on a
did.
very deep level, and it was meant to be. I'm
Absolutely.
honestly honored to be on your podcast.
Oh, thank you
Yeah.
so much, Mais. So I like to get a little bit of context about understanding a little bit of your backstory, Mais. Tell me a little bit about life growing up for you. You grew up in Dubai?
Yeah.
So you've seen the city grow and expand.
From a sand to a brand.
Wow,
That's the way I call
love
it.
that. So tell me, how was life growing up for you here?
It was amazing, honestly. It's like being a tourist every day. Every day there's something new. You never get bored. I still prefer Dubai in the 90s. I love Dubai in the 90s. And I think everybody that grew up here would agree that Dubai in the 90s had a different kind of taste and feel. Not because it's not any good right now. It's absolutely stunning. But Dubai in the 90s was very cozy. Everybody knew everybody because it's so small. It was just opening up to, growing and expanding, and tourists were coming in, but it was still not like out there,
Yeah.
It was just those few people that came in. So it was just amazing seeing it grow. And it was very fast. Like it's not like I closed my eyes and opened and there's this massive city. Every day there was something new.
Happening.
Every day. Until this day.
Wow.
I mean, tomorrow there's something new. The next month there's something new. You always open up social media today and you go like, latest cafe, latest adventures, latest this, latest that. So it always keeps you on your feet, which is what I love.
In terms of your kind of growth into kind of going into TV and entertainment industry, tell me how that came about.
Oh, that was that was a funny story. So I actually, if we take a step back, what I wanted to study in the UK.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, I did. I wanted to study in the UK. I wanted to study criminal law. And I mean, living in Dubai, it doesn't really apply. I can't work as a criminal lawyer because I need to be a local to work as a criminal lawyer here. And my parents were like, criminal law? That's whether you work in the UK state, it's not happening. So they weren't really fond of it, but it was a passion of mine. You know, I used to watch all the series, the criminal shows, and I always saw myself as this criminal lawyer. But that didn't happen, so I ended up studying interior architecture, which was not on the list. But I kind of closed my eyes and I said, that's my major, you know? Plus my mom liked it.
Yeah.
I did graduate with honors and, you know, amazing grades, and my project won awards. I opened up a business, did really well for 2 years. And then I realized money doesn't buy happiness. All this money that I had and this successful business and doing massive projects here in Dubai, and I was empty. I felt like I didn't make any use of it. So since I was like a child, I was obsessed with media, you know, growing up to Oprah. And I always saw myself as a TV anchor or anything related to television or presenting. And even in school and university, I would always be the MC of the events. And the first opportunity I got was dubbing. And I had the opportunity to dub Bollywood movies.
No way! I did not know you were going to have a Bollywood link here.
Yeah, there's a Bollywood link. I started my media career dubbing Bollywood movies as a voiceover artist.
You have got a lovely voice.
Oh, well, thank you.
I have to say, it's like you do have a lovely voice.
And picked up a couple of Urdu words, you know. Along the way, it was over 200 movies, actually. And Kareena Kapoor was one of my favorite characters to dub. And Aishwarya Rai, of course. Aishwarya Rai was tough to dub. You know,
Was she?
She's very tough to dub.
What makes somebody easy or hard to dub?
Well, I mean, at the end of the day, dubbing is also acting. Kareena Kapoor was very similar to my character. So her energy was very similar to mine. So there wasn't a lot of acting involved. It was very easy for me to relate to her character. But Aishwarya Rai is tough. She really takes up roles that are hard to act. And it was trying to get her emotions through. You know, at the end of the day, this is your voice, so you need to exaggerate it. You need to play with the tonality that it matches her face as well.
Wow.
Yeah.
I did not. Kareena Kapoor, if you're watching.
I love Kareena Kapoor, all her movies. I enjoyed dubbing every single movie of Kareena Kapoor. She is my favorite actress to dub, but to even to watch her movies.
Absolutely.
I love her energy. She's very similar to, I can relate to her.
Yeah, I can see that.
Katrina Kaif is also amazing. I mean, they're all great Bollywood stars, but I really enjoyed it. For 2 years, I dubbed
So
Bollywood
you must
movies.
have seen a lot of movies.
A
then.
lot. Well, the thing is, I don't watch the whole movie. I watch only the scenes that I dub. But usually what I do is I actually watch the whole movie after. Because it was so much fun dubbing it. I actually want to know what happens.
For sure.
So
And so do you have to kind of actually create the emotion of that character. In fact, I've never really thought about that, but for dubbing, you must have to also create that character to come across in another language.
It's really hard, especially the lip sync part. Oh my God. Urdu was okay, but there was Malayalam, was it like Malbar?
Yeah.
Am I saying this right?
Is that
the ones that speak really fast.
Oh, okay, yes.
Yeah.
Is that kind of like a southern?
I'm not so sure which part of India it is, but they speak really fast.
Yes, that is, I think.
I could not catch up with their lip syncing. Like it was like, what? How am I get? And the sentence is so long.
So you got to finish at the same time.
We've got to start and finish at the same time and try to match the lips as well, you know, so it doesn't look like it's one of those old Mexican series where they're still talking, that the lips stop moving, but the audio is still going.
Okay, that is a unique talent to have. I don't think many people can say that.
It's with practice. It's with practice. I mean, it was not easy. The first movie took about 5 days to dub, but then within practice and doing many movies, it started taking about 6 hours to 4 hours to finish an entire movie.
Amazing. Yeah. And then you got into ET Tonight?
Actually, no. Next up was radio. So radio was my next gig, and that was because the dubbing scene continued, but in different countries. It wasn't really popular anymore in Dubai. They started outsourcing it. So I got a radio gig opportunity. I became a radio presenter. Best days of my life. And from radio, I shifted to TV. And from TV, while my TV journey, I got the opportunity to become the voice of Entertainment Tonight, yeah.
Amazing.
The Arabic one, yeah.
Amazing. That is such a, just seeing how your career has developed by you really kind of tapping into that voice inside, that feel it in your soul moment.
Yes, yeah.
That was saying to you, no, it's not this thing that you've done, which I think is really interesting because a lot of us, we start down a path. And sometimes we can feel like we've already started this now. We've done so much work. I can't change lanes.
Yeah.
And what would you say to anyone who's like thinking of transitioning into another area or is feeling like a little bit stuck on where they are, but feel like this is not where I'm meant to be?
Stop allowing fear to become a barrier for you. Usually people have this fear of getting out of their comfort zone, or if it's not a comfort zone, getting out of stability. Because usually having a job means you have a sort of stability, whether your salary, your income, your house. And I understand that. It's very important to have stability.
Yeah.
But it's also very important to grow. And in order to grow, you need to change. You need to take risks. And if you were to fail once, twice, or 100 times, eventually it's going to work out. So it's kind of evaluating what kind of risk you want to take, if it makes sense to you, you know,
Yeah.
not like keeping your family on the street.
Yeah, absolutely.
But at the same time, like, okay, let me keep my job, but also let me try to open up a business. Let me try to follow my passion. And if that works out, then at least that overtakes the job, and then I can just convert. But living in that constant circle, whether you choose to call it your comfort zone or your stability circle, it's a circle. You're not going to grow.
There's no growth there, right?
There's no growth there. So you're going to be stuck in this, constant, fine, you're going to get promoted once or twice. Maximum, you become the director, and then
Yeah.
what?
Yeah.
If you're miserable, you're not living, you're just existing. So stop existing and start living. And choose which route you want to take.
That is so true. And I think often we can feel so compelled to stay where we are. Maybe we've studied something, maybe our parents are expecting something
Yeah.
from us or the people around us, but actually the joy, you are meant to do what you're meant to do with joy.
Yes.
I think that's the thing that's sometimes really missing. I think that we sometimes think it's all meant to be like the grind, the hustle, and all of those words, when actually to do something that you truly love opens you up to actual joy, fulfillment, and taking it to, you know, getting into yourself, connecting with the person that you are on your inner self,
Yes.
as opposed to the person that you want to show up as. So tell me, in that kind of motion of being in entertainment and being so visible in what you do, I know that when I spoke to you when you were on the retreat, and you've also shared on your social media, going, you know, having the diagnosis that you had and being faced with something as challenging as your health.
Yeah.
Tell me, when you first find out that you have something so big that it's actually to do with your own health, how do you deal with that when you've got such a public facing career?
Honestly, the second I got diagnosed, it was the first question I asked myself, like, what am I going to do now? Like, how do I approach this, you know? Should I keep it to myself? Should I publicize it? It took me some time. I mean, obviously, that's not the only thing I was thinking about. I was thinking about my health, really. So later on, because I knew that I was going to be off air, and I knew that my podcast had to stop at some point because there was bed rest.
Yeah.
So I had to give an explanation of some sort. And that's when I thought, if this happened to me, that means not sharing my journey would be selfish. For one reason, because I've joined every breast cancer campaign and talking about how important it is to get early detection.
Yeah.
And that's actually how I found out. It was just an early detection, like early checkup. There was no symptoms, there was no signs. And luckily, you know, I managed to find it. But it wouldn't make sense for me that I would hold back and not inspire people to share the journey of how we can still do it, because of this image that people have when they hear cancer. It's a lot of fear and a lot of depression and a lot of anxiety, which is why they don't go for the early detection, because they're scared. So I wanted to change that feel. I wanted to change that look. I wanted to change that image, that even though you get diagnosed, there is nothing to fear. You can still stand on your own 2 feet. And I shared it on my podcast journey that
Yeah.
I might be away for a few episodes, but I did record a bunch for you, you know.
Yeah.
But in case I don't make it in time, just to let you know, this is my journey. And in case I don't wake up, you know, this is my message to you, because people don't wake up from anesthesia. You never know. Like, it could not be for whatever reason. So I sent out a nice message to everyone, to the followers. And, you know, I made it. I woke up from all the anesthesias.
Thank goodness.
Yeah.
We're happy that you're
And it was a bumpy journey, but I shared the downs and the ups. And I stopped seeing any coaching clients. And I announced that this year I'm going to be coaching myself. I'm going to be focusing on myself and taking myself as a client, which is what I did. And I shared that journey as to, okay, this is how I was seeing things. And even the people that I lost, the friends that I lost, you know, the ones that couldn't cope with the emotional imbalance, the anger issues that were spiking, obviously, because there's a lot of chemicals involved. So there's
Yeah.
things that are out of your hands, and there are things that you can control. So it was a very interesting journey and very powerful to share, honestly.
Where did your head need to go to kind of, you know, you kind of think when you're faced with something as big as that in your life, you know, there's two ways that you can really, you know, do you stand up and go, hang on a second, this is the way I'm going to go through it? Do you take it day by day? What is the way that you mentally got through this?
Day by day, like you
Day
said.
by day.
One day at a time. And I even told my doctors, because when they would sit down and, you know, they give plans, they tell you, all right, in a couple of months, then you do the radiation, or in a couple of months, you do your other surgery. I said, stop telling me in a couple of months. What are we doing today? Because when you think about a couple of months, that also puts an anxiety. So I took it day by days. And today I have a session of radiation. I deal with the today's session. Tomorrow I have a surgery. We'll deal with tomorrow when it comes. You know, I take it day by day. You know, yeah, made it through the radiation.
Yeah.
We're good. And I think that's the most powerful thing to do, is taking it day by day and looking forward for a better day tomorrow. You know, and also celebrating yourself for passing through the day, whether it be, and try to make it fun. Like I used to make my radiation sessions as fun as I could. As I used to create those transformational reels of getting out of the gown into makeup and clothes. Yeah. Play music, you know, fun like I found soundtrack. I would tell them to play during the session.
Yeah.
You know, because it's like a machine and it's loud, but then you get to play music. So we used to play fun tracks. You know, having a good relationship with the hospital staff, not just treating them as you know, oh yeah, they're nurses or doctors. There's no fear. It's like a family now. You know, I see them more than I see my family. So yeah, that's the way I took it.
And what do you think your kind of biggest learning has been through getting through that period for yourself personally?
For me, it was letting go. It was the biggest lesson that I learned, the true meaning of letting go of any attachments, whether it be our body parts or materialistic stuff or anything outside of us. I went through phases. First, letting go of my breasts when I had the bilateral mastectomy. And then second, when I knew that I had to let go of the nipples. And then third, when I knew I had to let go of my activities, such as paddleboarding, boxing, you know, things that I love doing, beach. So day by day, I learned that, and it took a toll on me. Like when I knew that I couldn't get on a paddleboard, I cried more than I reacted in my diagnosis. My diagnosis, I didn't cry. But when she said no paddleboard, I'm like, but why? She's like, what? It was a complete breakdown, but that was when I got my learning.
Yeah.
And I said, I can't, she was something the doctor said. She's like, I can't believe you. You didn't break down when I told you have cancer, but you're breaking down when I tell you can't get on a paddleboard for a period of time. And then I was like, oh, that hit hard. So sometimes when people talk to you, it's like a slap on the face and they don't even realize the impact they've done. And it was a wake-up call. Like I realized, oh my God, how attached am I to a paddleboard, you know? And then I realized, I say, wait, why am I thinking in my head, like, why am I having a nervous breakdown? Who says I can't get on a paddleboard? Like, I'm the one that decides if I can get on or not. I'm the one that decides if I'm staying in bed or if I'm getting out of bed. So it was true. Like, they didn't expect me to get on a board for at least a year or two. I was on a board in 4 months.
Wow.
Yeah, I was very, very persistent.
The girl loves paddleboarding.
I
for
love
sure.
paddleboarding, and I made it happen. I mean, it wasn't exactly at the stamina that
Yeah.
I had before, but I was still on it, and I was the happiest I could have been. And I posted a reel that I did it. I stood on a paddleboard and I managed to give it 2-3 strokes. And it was the happiest moment of my life, like that I achieved it. I could do it. And that's true. Anybody can. It's just about having that positive mindset, having that goal that you want to get to. I want to reach that goal no matter what, whether be it sickness or anything in life. And not allowing other people's noise around you, their opinions, become your own personal belief. As in, when somebody tells you you can't do it, you start believing it. I can't do it, and then you get stuck.
How do you shut down that noise? Because that is so, that is one of the things that many people battle with, isn't it? That you've got, sometimes it's your own voice, your own negative voice. Sometimes it's the voices that are around you. How do you actually practically start shutting down the noise that doesn't really add anything to what you're doing, or the things that you want to block out so that you can focus on what you want?
Step number 1 is really having that strong relationship with yourself and your own belief system about yourself. I am strong, I am beautiful, I'm confident, I can do this. And then when the noises come in from outside, which I've mentioned before in a couple of interviews, it's like a dog barking. We hear dogs barking all the time, but it's harmless when you hear a dog barking. But the minute it becomes your own belief, that's when the dog bites. So I choose to treat people's opinions as just a dog barking. It's just noise. But I know what my true core belief system is. People can come and tell me every day, oh, your condition, you'll never recover. Oh, this. And I have facts that can prove it. I have this. And people come with facts, No, everybody, there's no such thing as a fact. It is a generalized opinion until proven otherwise. Someone else can come and give a generalized opinion and make it a new fact. Just like when the earth was flat and all of a sudden somebody had a generalized opinion that no, it's not flat, it is round or egg shape, and all of a sudden this huge fact changed. So truly understanding that there's no such thing as a fact, they're all generalized opinions until proven otherwise. My belief system is what matters the most about myself, because it's a reflection of my own thinking. And allowing the voices around me to be just barking noises, that will keep you intact. But the minute you start feeling pain, that's when you've got bitten, not by the noise, but by yourself.
That is so powerful.
Yeah.
I've got to say, watching you on social media and sharing that, just thank you as well, because I do think, in a world where we want to give the kind of glossiest image of ourselves, that showing that vulnerability is the real strength, and it's actually where we learn the most about ourselves. It allowed many people to watch that and think about their own lives, whatever the difficult thing that they're going through, but that feeling of, yes, I'm going to get through it. So I really want to thank you for sharing that, because it is a very vulnerable moment. Quick pause. If this conversation is lighting up something in you, and I'm sure it is, do not keep it to yourself. Please, please, please subscribe to the channel. It really does help. Drop us a review, share it with somebody who needs it. Oh, and if you don't know, we're also on Apple and Spotify too. It really helps us to get more soulful guests and reach more hearts and minds. Okay, now back to the episode. You started Disconnect DXB.
Yeah.
Was that something that you started from a result of going through some of the challenges that you've been through emotionally, physically?
Not so much. Maybe, of course, it has an impact, but because I've had my coaching business under my name, which is Mais Mohammed, and I still have that website, maismohammed.com. And under that, I do corporate trainings, and I have a workshop that's called SNP, and it stands for Switching Negatives into Positives. And that was it still is a trending workshop. And then there's another retreat that's called Disconnect to Reconnect. And then there was this, and then there's the paddleboard, which was Be Amazing.
Yeah.
And I felt like there was so much happening in so many different names under Mais Mohammed, but that's me, that's my name. And I felt like I added the ice bath. That was new, But just before I add the ice bath, I thought to myself, what now? What am I going to name this one? And I just felt like everything was all over the place. And I just wanted to combine everything in one. And I really love the retreat, Disconnect to Reconnect. So I posted a poll on my Instagram. I said, would you rather disconnect or reconnect? 98% of people voted disconnect. And that's when I chose the name. That was the reason I did the poll. I didn't tell them, I'm opening up a company. Can you please tell me what name? I just said, what would you rather do? I honestly thought people would go for reconnect.
I would have thought that too.
Because I was like, and I was kind of leaning for reconnect. Like I wanted to I wanted to name it reconnect, and now I can't imagine naming it reconnect.
Yeah.
And I said, all right, fine. The tagline is still there, disconnect to reconnect. But, you know, people voted, and I opened up the page and decided that I'm going to put everything under this umbrella. The ice bath, the paddleboard, the breathing sessions, the yoga, everything under wellness, you know, and the corporate also, I do team building and trainings under Disconnect. And people started really relating to the name because without even saying it, it's like they automatically say, Aman, I really felt like I was disconnected. And then they realize, oh, look, it's the same name.
Why do you think that is? Why do you think that people related so much, especially being in this, you know, very cosmopolitan city? Why do you think the word disconnect?
They need to disconnect. It is important. It's a very fast-moving city. And if you don't disconnect, it's unsafe and unhealthy for you. If you get dragged into the hype, you know, it's exciting. It's thrilling. But imagine going on a roller coaster 50 times in a row. You'll get nauseated and dizzy eventually. You know, it's fun, but eventually you'll get dizzy. So yeah, people are enjoying the fun ride in Dubai. But if they don't learn to balance and disconnect from the fast-moving life, reconnect with the nature that is available. I mean, this is a misconception also that people have in Dubai. It's a city life, there's no nature. No, there is nature. You have beautiful islands, beautiful beaches. UAE is massive. You know, 45-minute drive or a 30-minute drive, you're in a completely different city that is, you look like, it's like you've traveled. Mountains, nature. And even in Dubai, you have that nature. So it's about learning how to disconnect from the fast-moving life and reconnect with nature in order to recharge yourself. So when you're back to the roller coaster, you're enjoying the ride.
I love that. I love that. And I think in a world where we feel so plugged in, especially with social media and having a phone that has everything on it, your emails, it's almost like you don't actually disconnect. You are always on.
Connected,
Absolutely. What kind of like tips could you give our listeners to kind of disconnect, even kind of in the vicinity of their home, or if they have a little break? Is there certain things that we can do to disconnect?
Oh, for sure, yes. So number one is changing a habit, which we all have. Majority of people, I don't like generalizing, but a big number of people, our habit has become is the minute we wake up in the morning, whether be it the alarm on the phone, you know, because we reach out for the phone, we grab our phones, whether turning off the alarm, and usually what they do is they revert to social media the minute they open their eyes. And this is a critical time because the minute you open your eyes, your brain is still activating on theta waves, which means it is the highest peak of manifestation or of growing. So whatever you're feeding your brain at that time is critical. When you're opening social media, be it stupid trending videos, like nothing, I'm not even talking about heavy political videos. I'm talking about trending. What are you really feeding your mind here? You know, it is increasing your cortisol levels, your stress hormone, as opposed to feeding your mind with things that would help you grow and increase the dopamine and endorphin levels in your body. So step number one is avoiding social media and even your phone. Turn off the alarm. You don't have to look at the phone and open it. Turn off the alarm, get up, wash your face with cold water, and breathe. So since people carry their phones throughout their day most of the time, I always suggest putting an alarm to disconnect. You know, for different religions, they use prayer time to disconnect and reconnect with God.
Yeah.
But people that don't pray and people that have other religious values, place an alarm. You know, let's say you go to work and you have a certain schedule that from 9 to 6, you have a 9 to 6 job. You know, 1 p.m. is your lunchtime. Fine. Some people eat it at the desk. Even that they don't disconnect. But then after that, you would have an open window of 5 to 10 minutes. It's all it takes, 5 to 10 minutes. If an alarm goes on that says disconnect, all you need to do is sit in a corner or on your chair and breathe for just 30 seconds with your eyes closed and just focus on your breath. It doesn't, like, if you can put meditation music on, be it, even better, you know?
Yeah.
But if you simply just breathe for 30 seconds to a minute, deep breaths in, 4 seconds in, 4 seconds out, or 4, 6, 8, you know, any breathing technique, there's no wrong breathing. And just those 30 seconds where you switch off, no noise, no nothing. That will, first of all, put down your blood pressure, put down your cortisol level, allow you to kind of disconnect from wherever you are and shift your perspective and perception to whatever environment that you're in. So you start seeing things at different angles. The more you practice this, the better. So place an alarm on your phone that says disconnect.
That is such good advice, because I think when we think about all the things that we set alarms for, it's for everything external.
Yes.
Right? I've got to be here, I've got to do this. But to put in your diary or on your alarm, it's going to go off for me to disconnect. It's putting that as a value, as something that you value in your day, that it's that important. And would you say that your productivity actually will increase, or the fact that, you know, the way that you operate will be benefited by you disconnecting?
Of course, 100%. Everything elevates. When you increase oxygen to your brain, you're definitely going to produce better. I mean, I'm talking biological, medical. The more oxygen you have in your blood, the better you perform, the better your brain performs. So water, oxygen, that's what you need. You have applications that tells you time to drink. You know, there is applications that says time to breathe.
Yeah.
Breathing. Well, it doesn't tell you time to breathe, but it's a breathing app that teaches you, you know, different breathing techniques. People with watches, smartwatches, it tells you it's time to stand.
Yeah.
Yeah, but if it can tell you time to stand, you can also tell it to tell you it's time to disconnect. And within disconnecting means always reminding yourself to drink water, a lot of it, you know, 2.5 liters is good. Hydrate yourself and breathe. It's very simple,
Yeah, it's
by
very
the way.
simple. I was going to say, I think sometimes we can get caught up with how complicated things have to be, you know, and when you make it that simple, it's almost like you can't run away from the truth of being able to disconnect. And sometimes we make ourselves so busy because we don't want to be quiet with our own time. You know, there's a lot of people that actually find being disconnected makes them feel really kind of anxious, that there's, you know, something wrong. And that's because getting back to the center of who we are, we're so bombarded with external influences all the time that sometimes a quiet space for ourselves is something that we don't actually know how to be.
Yeah.
And all you need to do is breathe.
Yeah.
I love that. I love that. So I know you also work as a master coach with people on personal growth. What are some of the common challenges that you see today, especially being in Dubai with high achievers, ambition, wanting the next thing? You've climbed this mountain, now the next bigger mountain. What kind of advice could you give to, you know, that kind of being on that treadmill of always wanting the next big thing?
I love that, being on the treadmill.
Yeah.
So I do get a lot of those. Yeah, especially the ones that have FOMO, fear of missing out on the next big thing or the next outing. And for those people, I always say that the root cause of the problem is being in touch with yourself. The outside world is always going to be there. It's always going to be busy. There's always going to be something new happening. But if you lose touch to yourself, to your true core being, of why you're here, your true purpose, of why you exist in this world, you're going to lose yourself in this mess. Be it, even if it's, I call it a mess because you're going to lose yourself. Even if it's great goals and achievement, but you're empty on the inside. You're drained. Your body's tired. Your soul is tired. Your soul is exhausted, not even physical. You know, you're spiritually exhausted. So for these people, I say balance in life. The more you connect with yourself, you build that strong bond, relationship. You become your own best friend. I always tell people this. I ask them the same question. If I ask you today, would you treat your daughter the same way you treat yourself today? 98% people say no. I said, if it's not okay for you to treat your daughter the same way you treat yourself, you have a problem. You need to treat yourself like you treat the most person, the closest person to you, the person that you love the most. And that's when you'll start going on that treadmill without even feeling the pain or the suffering along the way that you're on a treadmill. You know, you're constantly running. Build that strong bond with yourself. Choose to put yourself first. It is not selfishness, because you can't help others if you can't help yourself first. You have to help yourself first. And even in airplanes, they show you the most emotional thing for you to understand. They put a mask on, with oxygen mask.
Yeah.
They show you a mother and a daughter, you know, the strongest bond, the most emotional one. They tell the mother, cover yourself first and then cover the child, because you can't help your child if you can't breathe. And the same applies to life. You will not be able to help your career if you don't help yourself first. Once you start treating yourself in that manner, the manner of, I will not hurt myself. I refuse to hurt myself because I love her so much. You know, I refuse to allow toxic environment, because no, I wouldn't allow it for her. I'm not going to allow it for me. And watch how miracles happen.
And do you kind of have some technique that you use? I don't know, speaking in the mirror in the morning, or is there anything like that you use?
Not the mirror. I speak to myself.
Speak to yourself.
So, like, for example, I'll give you the simplest example.
Yeah.
I have friends that call me and, you know, hey, Mais, we're going out tonight. It's going to be amazing. We're a big group. And, you know, FOMO kicks in. And I'm like, and I'm just tired. You know, I've had a long day. And I woke up early to the gym and running around errands. And just before, like, I answer the WhatsApp, the first thing I do is I ask myself, Mais, do you really want to go? And I just
check
wait.
in with yourself.
Yeah, I check in with myself. What do you really want to do? And then, like, it's call it a voice or call it your unconscious mind, but it's a vibe that you get. And, like, all I kept getting was, let's Netflix, you know? Like, I know this is a very fun outing, but let's Netflix. And then I just reply, listen, I'm going to pass on this one. Sorry. Like, I'm really tired. And while I'm doing the simplest thing, which is, you know, Netflix in bed, I was having the time of my life. Like, I was feeling it, every inch of my body, that the rest that I was getting, because I asked myself for it. And that's not only for resting, that's also for travel, for business deals. Do I really want to do this project? What do you think, Mais?
So whenever any question arises, just stop for a second.
Check in with yourself.
And just check in with yourself. Because we can so off the bat come out with something, which is almost maybe like our knee-jerk reaction, right? But if we just wait a second and go, hang on a second, do I really want to get ready, spend this many hours, do X, Y, and Z, come home late, what have I got the next day? And then answer the question. It's almost giving yourself permission to have some time to think about what you want, rather than being taken along for the ride. I think that's really, really good advice.
Yeah, it's beautifully said also from you.
So in terms of kind of unplugging, and we talked about, you know, disconnect, talking to ourselves, how we talk to ourselves. In this world where we are rushing around, we've got so many things that we're doing. And I think even for yourself, you know, running your social media account whilst also the career that you have, and also trying to maintain a social life and all the things that we want. How do you kind of maintain your mental health in all of that?
Lovely question. I call it mental gym every day. Just like I go to the gym every day, I have my mental gym.
Yes.
I work out my brain every morning. So the thing is, because I disconnect a lot throughout the day, I know that I'm keeping up with a very busy schedule, but it's organized mess, you can put it that way. You know, like, I know each day what I'm doing. It's all scheduled properly. And usually Saturdays is no one speak to me. It's my disconnect day. I go on the boat, which I have to take you on.
Oh, yeah.
And that's me time. Now, whoever would like to join my me time is more than welcome. But I'm leaving with or without you. Like, I don't depend on people to join this. Like, if you'd like to come and disconnect with me, be it. When I'm on the boat, when I'm in the ocean, when I'm close to water, for me, that's my recharge. That's really disconnecting. Like, this is my happiest. You know, I go out for a ride or I go on my paddleboard, I'm happy. But I'm happier, put it that way. I'm disconnecting. But throughout the week, every morning I wake up, I listen to podcasts or any affirmations they're feeding the soul, you know, good conversations. Be it just affirmations on its own. It's nice to hear, you know. And everything that I can listen to and read, I always try to keep things that feed the mind, not useless things, you know. So that's my mental gym. And constantly checking in with myself is also my mental gym. Like if all of a sudden I feel an emotion pop up, and this is something that I've always mentioned before, your emotions are a radar mechanism to your thinking. They're there to tell you, careful, you're not thinking straight, or well done, you're thinking great. Now, it's like a traffic light. Anger pops up, it's red, it's telling you, stop thinking that way, it hurts. But what people tend to do, I'm angry, don't speak to me. They allow the emotion to flow. So when I say check in with your body, listen to your emotions, they're trying to speak to you. It's your job to listen.
So let's say, for example, all of a sudden you've got really angry about something.
Yeah.
Right? Because this is actually quite a big thing. Not playing out your emotions is so powerful, because you may feel that at the time, and then sometimes you can look back and go, God, I just lost it.
Yeah.
Why did I just lose it? How can you have more control over that emotional aspect of you, especially being a woman as well? Like, you know,
Hormonal.
you know, how do you? Because you never act in your best self when you're acting from your emotion.
When you train yourself to listen to your emotions and use the 5-second rule, the combination of the two, by training 1 to 3 days, maybe a week, it will become a habit that the minute an emotion pops up, okay, it is obviously a reaction to something that happened. It is a reaction to whether someone said something, did something, body language. It is a reaction. 5-second rule, pause 5 seconds before you react. Hold on. Hold your horses.
Yes.
You know, because women, what do they do?
I know.
Boom, you know, firecracker.
Right.
And I used to be one of those. They used to call me a firecracker.
Yeah.
I had a friend of mine, he called me a firecracker. He's like, Mais, the situation didn't even happen yet, and you're like, fire, you know? And that was a wake-up call as well for me. And that's when I learned also the 5-second rule. I pause for 5 seconds, and I try to make an understanding of the situation itself. Obviously, if this person said something, they're saying it based on their beliefs, their core system, their programming.
Yeah.
Okay. It means two things. Either they are unintentionally saying it, like they don't mean to hurt me, but the way I'm perceiving it and the meaning-making process I'm making out of it is very negative. Hence the reason anger popped up. You know, that emotion popped up because the meaning I made out of whatever they said is very negative. Or you have in relationships where they purposely say things that they know are bothering you to trigger your anger. So these are their two options. Now, if you use the 5-second rule and you just hold on, do I really want to give that person that's purposely, like my spouse, a friend, that is really trying to make me angry, do I want to give him that power and become his slave? Because that's it, he's in control of you. It's like you're his slave. So if we're all against slavery, then why would you allow someone to be in control of your emotions, even though that's biologically impossible? Because you're the one in control of them. So once you have that mentality and you pause for 5 seconds and you go like, no, hold on. I immediately shift my question because I know what's causing my anger. I know that the reason I'm feeling angry is because they said something that triggered something within me. The minute I change my meaning-making process towards it and my perception, instantly the emotion changes. It's like a remote control.
That's so powerful.
So here you're not holding back on your emotions. You're shifting your emotions. Releasing emotions are very important. Anger is there for a reason.
And how do you release it in a way that's constructive or at least better?
Scream at a pillow.
Get a pillow, yeah.
Well, I mean, anger can be released in so many ways. Obviously, built up anger needs to be released in coaching sessions.
Yeah.
Built up anger throughout the years. We've learned how to become angry. We're not born with it. These are traits that we learn along the way. So it's very important to clean up the root cause of all your problems and clean up the anger. It doesn't mean the anger is going to disappear.
Yeah.
It will start showing up on things you choose to be angry about later on in the future. But that is step number one. So cleaning up the past, the root cause. And then number two, after you've cleaned that up, how to control your anger other than the 5-second rule, or how to release it, like you said. I personally love releasing emotions of all sort negative using fitness.
Yeah.
Because you're pumping high levels of endorphins and dopamine when you work out, really high levels, and you're releasing a lot of stress. So I personally, my go-to is that, or a passion, like a paddleboard, a boat, whatever it is that some people sewing and painting, it's sort of a release for them.
So find out what
Your release is.
What your release is.
Yeah. And some people really are screaming in a pillow.
Yeah.
Go for it, you know?
And is there any advice that you could give on kind of conflict resolution? Because a lot of the times, if you have got that upset, it generally is somebody that perhaps you're close to or means something to you. Is there any kind of advice that you could give on kind of actually resolving conflict with people that you are close to or that you love, or, you know, you find it really, really difficult to kind of stand your ground with?
Well, resolving conflict with someone that's very close to you, especially that there's an emotional bond, when it's the mid of the crisis where both of you are in negative emotions, be it anger or sadness or fear, whatever it is, never try to resolve it when you're in that state.
Yeah.
Because it's an unstable state of mind. Both of you are not thinking straight. Wait for one person to calm down, or both of you to calm down, and also have to agree about it ahead of time. When you're in a good state of mind, have some sort of agreement that, listen, we're going to have fallouts. It's only normal. We're going to disagree. But when we do, let's make a promise to each other that after we cool down, we speak about it maturely. So this is something very important to have kind of an agreement with your spouse or partner or friend, best friend even. And when you do calm down, try to reflect inwards rather than point the finger and blame. Because when you point the finger and blame, it causes all the emotions to pop up again. So the time you have calming down, reflect inwards and say, did I react to this the way I should have? My meaning-making process, we go to that point. Did I make the meaning, a correct meaning of what he's saying, and I became angry for no reason? Or was he, whatever he was saying, is he saying it because of his past traumas? There's a beautiful quote I heard the other day. What's hysterical is historical. It's beautiful. So any hysterical kind of reaction to something is related to a history of a trauma. So if he reacted to something you said, it's related to something from his history. And it's a beautiful saying.
That is. And it's so powerful in that you're able to release it.
Yeah.
Because you're not making it about yourself.
Exactly. So you're reflecting inwards before sitting with that spouse. And when you do, try as much as you can. I know it's very hard for humans. You did this, you did that. Try to avoid pointing your finger, especially actually pointing it.
Exactly. They say there's 3 fingers pointing back when you have a pointing finger.
Exactly. So avoid the blame and try to come to an understanding of a resolution that fits the both of you.
That's beautiful. And this has been such a beautiful conversation. I think one of the biggest takeaways is just actually giving yourself some space to stop. If we can actually do that, and that's what I'm really getting from this conversation, even in terms of your mental health, before you make a decision, before you get angry, allowing yourself that bit of space so that you can check in and then respond the way that you truly, that's in line with who you truly are, is the way that we can have a much more seamless and peaceful life. I love that. Oh my God, I could speak to you all day. There's so much to learn from you.
Let's do 5 more episodes.
I know, exactly. This is a show in itself. It's been absolutely lovely. We do have a closing tradition on the show. So as a closing question, what gift of hindsight would you give your younger self?
keep living the moment, enjoy every second of it, and always be that child. Always be that child. Never change.
I love that.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. This has been beautiful, Mais.
Thank you. Thank you.
Oh my goodness, what an episode. Thank you so much for tuning in to Feel It in Your Soul. Every story you hear is a reminder that you're not stuck. It's never too late. And we can reframe every element of our life to work for us. If you want to go deeper, check out my meditations, workshops, and more at feelitinyoursoul.com. Oh, and please do not forget, subscribe. Just hit the subscribe button. And of course, leave me a message. I read every single one. Until next time, feel it in your soul.